phrase in the movie that triggers a lecture from a brother. Lang Dang ended up in jail. You thought you would spend your entire life behind bars, but instead, you traveled to another parallel world. In this world, you are the righteous big brother of the underworld, and your brothers are even more ruthless. Your appearance is extraordinary. However, because of your past life experiences, you know that if you continue to insist on going your own way, you will inevitably repeat the same path. Coincidentally, you awaken the big director system and discover that the film industry in this world is in a state of decline. Instead of experienced trainees who have practiced for 2.5 years, there are only inexperienced newcomers with no acting skills on the screen. Meanwhile, you observe the crowd of followers, the Wenlong painting tigers, who are devoted to you and your brothers. Determined, you decide to film the hottest scene from your previous life inside a rundown restaurant. Around the table sit 10 people who resemble tigers, each displaying different expressions. They attentively listen to your script. As your voice falls, it seems to touch their hearts. Some listen with enthusiasm, while others listen with tears in their eyes. When your story concludes, many people are still trying to regain their composure. You survey the room, pleased with the impact you've made. However, you didn't anticipate that your own story would be so well received, moving even the toughest men to tears. Suddenly, one of them, Lao Sanmeng, slams his hand on the table. Disregarding your script, he declares that the restaurant is not profitable and will likely close within 2 years. He suggests it's better to join forces with you. The third man appears calm but is actually quick-tempered and possesses a strong sense of morality. He recognizes that you, the original protagonist, have shouldered all the blame alone while the brothers have remained unscathed. He has always felt guilty about this and now sees an opportunity to make amends. The other brothers also become eager to participate after hearing your story. While they may not excel in shooting romance idol dramas, they are confident that no one can surpass them in making a film like Confused Boy. With you as the director, the script for the movie is a given. However, numerous other talents are required, such as prop masters and makeup artist assistants. Currently, an assistant is urgently needed because you can't handle everything on your own. You need someone on the inside to share the burden and provide support. As luck would have it, you come across a highly talented individual. To recruit more members and increase exposure, you advertise on recruitment platforms, making a concerted effort. Finally, your hard work pays off, and you successfully find a graduate from a prestigious school. As someone who can deceive graduates from prestigious schools, you understand the value of such a resource. Coincidentally, Wu Jiejia, a graduate from Moses College, the second best film school in the country, fits the bill. Unfortunately, he fell ill with an infectious disease just as he was about to receive his diploma, forcing him to rest at home for 6 months. When he recovered, he faced the predicament of not finding suitable job opportunities since the school's job fair had long passed. The Wu family, in a state of anxiety after a year of searching, urgently needed stability. Your advertisement aligns perfectly with Wu Jiejia's requirements. The salary may not be high, but the job offers freedom and flexibility. Moreover, the company is just starting out. There isn't much business here either. It's just a good opportunity to gain some hands-on experience, which can be helpful for future job changes. With this mindset, Wu Jiejia applied for an interview today. However, upon arriving at the interview location, a strong feeling of unease washed over Wu Jiejia's heart. Is this really a film and television company? The place looks more like a snack street, with signs advertising stir-frying and stir-frying on the glass windows. But they say good things come to those who wait. So the Wu family woke up early, got ready, and rushed to this place, spending a total of 5 hours. Going back empty-handed is not an option, or else they might as well die of frustration. Surprisingly, this place is actually the restaurant owned by Lao Sanmeng. Last night, they hastily searched for advertisers and customized the branding. They even woke up early in the morning to set everything up and convert the private rooms into makeshift offices. However, none of these offices have doors, only thin bamboo curtains separate them. With their hands and feet squeezed, the Wu family finally found a room labeled as the director's office. They wanted to knock on the door, but hesitated. Instead, they whispered outside the room, "I am Wu Jiejia. May I come in?" Inside the room, the clever person was still rubbing their temples and hadn't looked up yet. The Wu family could hear the commotion caused by Lao Sanmeng being woken up in a hurry. The third brother, still half asleep, was kicked awake by Lao Sanmeng's fierce over-the-shoulder kick. Finally, when Lao Sanmeng said, "Come in," the Wu family opened the curtain and entered. However, as soon as they stepped inside, a strong smell of alcohol hit their nose, causing them to frown. The unprofessional atmosphere made them contemplate leaving immediately. But before they could make a decision, Yu, the director, asked without looking up, "Just graduated from college. Do you have any money on you?" This question caught the Wu family off guard. Hailing from a rural background, they didn't bring much money with them. They urgently needed to find a job, but being new to the workforce, they didn't understand the intricacies involved. They shook their head dumbly, indicating that they didn't have much money left, only about $300. In response, you slapped the table and expressed your liking for talented individuals like them who come from humble backgrounds. You offered to advance their salary for the first month and invited them to work with you. The Wu family was taken aback by this unexpected turn of events. They didn't say anything but pondered over their situation. Suddenly, they recalled what their teacher had said about the film industry being a treacherous path, where some directors exploit young and beautiful students. The more they thought about it, the more scared they became. They contemplated leaving, but at that moment, they heard the commotion outside caused by your conversation with the other brothers. The sound of the table being slammed caught their attention, making them believe that something serious had occurred. Combined with the lingering effects of last night's alcohol, the sight of heavily tattooed men blocking the doorway made Wu Jiejie realize they had fallen into a dangerous situation. Their eyes welled up with tears, and they burst into a sob. Startled, you frowned and tried to console them, telling them not to cry. Wu Jiejie, terrified, stopped crying and looked at you with fear, pleading not to harm them, as they had no money and an average physique. These words made you laugh angrily. 2,000 yuan was slapped into the hands of the Wu family. "We are serious about business and welcome top students like you. Take this money first, rent a house, buy 2 outfits, and it won't be a problem to report tomorrow." The Wu family's eyes filled with tears, and they suddenly realized that the man in front of them didn't seem as old as they had initially thought. He reached out his hand and pulled the Wu family up, joking in his own dialect, "How is this girl so skinny? Eat more." A few people at the door saw that there was nothing important happening here, so they dispersed to attend to their own tasks. Finally, Wu Jiejie gathered the courage to ask at that moment, "Mr. Shinshin, why are your employees here so unique?" You looked down and pondered for a moment. You were afraid that if you didn't answer this question well, this high-achieving student in front of you would turn and leave. You realized that the most important thing at the beginning of one's career is talent, of course. So you remembered that in your previous life, your boss presented you with a grand cake, but it turned out to be tasteless. However, you estimated that it wouldn't be a problem to deceive this young college girl who had just entered society. It was a good question to ask. Of course, it's about subverting the already stagnant film and television industry. My brothers and I have ambitions. We want to inspire and revive the fresh and capital-controlled film and television market. We aim to tap into new film markets. The third man standing beside you looked at you like a monster, realizing how you used to be a simple person and now deceive others one by one. The Wu family listened with awe and admiration in their eyes. After graduation, they had been idle at home for a long time, feeling a sense of urgency. Hearing your persuasive words, they suddenly felt that they had a bright future ahead. They agreed without hesitation, thinking that your company perfectly matched their expectations. If the company faced difficulties, they were even willing to accept a lower salary. It was their duty to revive the glory of the new film industry. Seeing the excited Wu family, you chuckled inwardly. No wonder bosses used to paint grand visions. It felt good. So you stepped forward and patted them on the shoulder, saying, "An important task is now in your hands." The Wu family nodded excitedly, eagerly awaiting your instructions. And then you said, "Find a real estate agent. I'm going to sell the house." After hearing this, not only the Wu family was stunned, but even the third brother was taken aback. Something suddenly came to his mind, and he hurriedly tried to stop you. He said, "You're planning to sell the house? It can't be your family's ancestral home that's going to be demolished. If you sell the house, where will you live?" You dismissed his concerns, saying, "Don't worry about it. Don't you know the saying, if it does not break, it does not stand? Besides, my demolished house can fetch a good price in the city center. It's worth millions." The efficiency of the Wu family was commendable. They contacted people the next day, expecting to sell the house for 3 million. Unexpectedly, it was sold for a high price of 4 million. Looking at the 4 million in your bank account, you felt a bit dazed. Who would have thought that a house could fetch such a large sum of money? In this market where property prices constantly appreciate, only people like you dare to make such a move. With the money in hand, things would go smoothly from here. You made a call and gathered all your brothers at the mall. When the brothers received the call, they thought something had happened at the mall, so they rushed there in a taxi with great momentum. They were relieved when they found out that you were there to buy props for the movie. You handed them the money and asked them to shop for clothes for the film. Although it would have been cheaper to contact some garment factories, you were currently short on funds. You had to work overtime to catch up and complete the movie to generate revenue. As long as the capital flow was maintained, everything would fall into place. However, the initial situation was challenging. The third brother led the group and arrived at the mall. When they learned that they were there to make purchases, they felt relieved. After all, in the current world, it was better to maintain peace and avoid unnecessary conflicts. The power of 200,000 yuan was unstoppable. So you and your group of a dozen intimidating guys rushed into the mall. People around instinctively made way for you, sensing an aura that no one should dare to disturb, even though there was no hostility. There was always a sense of fear when they looked at you. Once inside, the security guard hiding next to the door finally rushed out and took out his walkie-talkie, speaking in a trembling voice, "Manager, a dozen guys have entered the mall. They seem to be from a nearby city. Bring your brothers and come out to see."